oh, I just can't fast. I can't do that. I need to be eating. All right. Ever looked at a picture of yourself and wondered, who is that? Yeah, me too. It happened to me. No judgment, no judgment. But I figured out how to transform my body and my mindset without spending hours in the gym and without starving myself. I talked more about this in my 40-pound weight loss video, so I will leave a link to that video here, somewhere here up on the screen, so that way you can watch that video, because this video right here is going to be the most asked questions on that video. I got so many questions, really good questions actually, because you got to understand, you guys, I literally thought like 2 people were going to watch my video. I think like the video sat at like 50 views for like a couple weeks. You know, when I told that story, when I shared that video and I shared what I did, that stuff was just like from the heart. I was just like putting it all on the table and just kind of speaking from the heart and letting you guys know what I went through, how I lost the weight. But there are some really good questions in there, and I wanted to take the time to film a video where I can answer some of those questions. So those that are watching the video now, the weight loss video now, can have another resource for some of the questions that they might have, okay? And that video, by the way, is like almost at 500,000 if it's not at 500,000. So you guys resonated so much with what I was going through, which is the reason why I made the video to begin with. So yeah, I think this Q&A is very much needed. So let's just get right into it. It's gonna be super casual today, guys. I have the largest cup of iced coffee. It's mostly almond milk in here because I didn't want to fill it up with cream or whatever, but it is so good, but it is so strong. Okay, so the first question surrounds my 5-hour eating window. So why do I fast from 11 a.m. to 6 a.m.? I only fast from that time frame and that time period because when I wake up, I want to be able to have my coffee. I addressed this in the last What I Eat in a Day video. I'm a coffee drinker, you guys. I just want to be able to drink my coffee as soon as I wake up, which is the reason why I start eating at 6 a.m. And because I am trying to fast for about 19 hours, you know, I'm trying to hit the 19 hours. Sometimes I do 20. This is not rigid, guys, but that's like my minimum is like a good 19-hour fast. So that's the reason why I stopped eating at 11 a.m. because I'm gonna start eating again at 6. Now, there are times where I stop eating at 11 a.m. and I don't eat again until 8. This is the first thing I'm putting in my mouth today, and it's literally 10 a.m. So I did a pretty long fast. I did almost a 24-hour fast. So fasting really feels good to me. The longer I fast, the better I feel, the less cravings that I have. There's so many benefits to fasting, you guys. I highly recommend you doing your own research to find out all of the amazing healing benefits of fasting. It's not just weight loss, you guys. I get quite a few comments about how this isn't sustainable and me fasting is starving myself. But I eat a nice amount of food during the day, and I just choose to let my digestive system rest. When you let your digestive system rest, it can begin to heal other parts of your body. It starts to heal itself because it's not working so hard to digest the crackers, the cookies, the cake, the muffins, or whatever it is that we're binging on throughout the day. And even if you're eating healthy throughout the day, which you can, and not fasting, your body is still working very hard to digest all those healthy foods. It's not about it just being processed. I don't want it to come off like that. But if you are eating all the time, when does it have time to do the other things? Do your research, you guys. Do your research. So anyway, that is the reason why I eat from 6 to 11. I can choose to eat from 12 to 4. I can choose any time frame I want. I just chose 6 to 11 and it worked well for me. But you don't have to start eating at 6 a.m. and you don't have to stop eating at 11. You don't even have to fast if you don't want to. However, I shared with everybody the 3 things, the combination of things that I did that really helped to melt the fat away. And it was eating in a caloric deficit, fasting 18 to 20 hours per day, and walking an hour a day. That combination of things is elite, you guys. I literally, I'm at the age where if I look at food, I blow up, okay? I literally will gain weight. I went to Arizona. I had to gain a good 8 pounds in Arizona, drinking alcohol, not fasting. I blew up, you guys. I locked back in. I've been walking, fasting, eating in a caloric deficit. And when I tell you, every single day that I wake up, I am smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So this works. This combo works. It doesn't take long to work. I start losing weight within a couple days, literally. So you don't have to follow all 3 of these steps. I've seen some of the comments where people are like, oh, I just can't fast. I can't do that. I need to be eating. All right. No problem. Do whatever works for you. Okay, the next question is, how long do I walk each day? When I originally lost my weight, I was walking an hour a day. Every single day, I'll just say maybe like 5 days out the week minimum I walked. Sometimes it was 7 days a week, sometimes it was 6 days a week. It's very easy to get into a habit and you crave it so much, and the benefits of walking are so profound that you may find yourself just wanting to walk every single day. I don't think there's anything wrong with walking or moving your body every single day. I think that as many steps as you can get in the day is super beneficial for cardio health and to combat you gaining a lot of fat, especially as we get older. Like I said, I am an older woman. I am 43, which was another one of the most asked questions. I am 43 years old. So it's very, very important for me to have that level of activity. So walking at least an hour a day. Currently, right now, like I told you guys, I locked in. I've been doing 70 minutes and I like it. If you're lifting weights, but you're not moving your body and walking a certain amount of steps per day, you're probably not going to prevent your body from holding on to fat, if that makes sense. The next question was a really good question. It was, do you have to walk for 1 hour straight or can you break it up? You can definitely break it up. You can definitely break up your walks. If you need to do 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the afternoon, then that's good. I would say the biggest goal is just going to be to continuously find ways to move your body and get those additional steps in. The best way to do that is park farther at the grocery store. Take the steps if you can. If you work at a desk, if you work at an office or anything like that, and you have an iPhone, your iPhone will remind you to stand up. Use that opportunity to do a few laps around your office, which is what I do. I work in an office. I'm at my desk 8 hours a day. I have to purposely get up and walk around my office and take laps. So if you do that, coupled with you intentionally walking about an hour per day, at the minimum, I would say, try to do an hour. But there's going to be people who are going to have issues with walking for such long periods of time. If that's you, if you have fragile hips, knees, things of that nature, if age is a restriction, if an injury is a restriction, that about yourself. So obviously I'm just talking to those who don't have that restriction, who can actually walk. I will say this, when I was heavier, walking that first hour, I was sore as hell. Okay. I was sore as hell. So although walking might seem like it's just like nothing, when you got a lot of weight on you, baby, that walking ain't no joke. Okay. So please don't expect it to be that easy, and pace yourself. If you need to break this up, then break it up. And then if you can start to do it continuously, then go ahead and do it continuously. The thing about doing it continuously is your body will start to use like the food that you ingested, like carbs, things like that. It's going to be using that for energy in the beginning. And there's going to be a time frame while you're walking that it's going to shift into straight fat burning mode. And that comes in about the 45-minute mark, okay? Hence, the reason why I walk 70 minutes, y'all. That's why I be doing an hour. That's why I do it in one go, because I'm trying to get a good 20 minutes where my body's using straight fat for energy. That's all. And because of the fact that I stopped eating really early, and I think that this is a benefit for me, I got to do the research on it, but for some reason, it makes sense. But I stop eating at 11 a.m. That's the last amount of energy that I take in. And then if I come home and I walk at 7 p.m., I used a lot of the energy up that I ate between 11 and 7. And then when I get on that treadmill and I walk that 70 minutes, I don't think it's taking me that long to get to the point where my body is using fat as energy. It just sounds right to me, but I might be wrong. But I have been loving the evening walks, and I have been loving the benefits because I feel super snatched, and I feel like walking really transforms your body. And I'm addicted and I'm in love at this point. Okay, so the next question was a really good question. Which Mat Pilates did I use? You guys, I used Windsor Pilates, super old, but she is the original. And I absolutely love Windsor. I actually watch her Pilates video on YouTube. I will link it down below, but I'm gonna warn y'all right now because I don't want anybody talking mess. The video blurry as hell, y'all. The video is blurry as hell. But you know what she's doing. And if you grew up, okay, with Windsor Pilates, then you already know Mari Windsor was that girl when it came to Pilates, okay? So the reason why I do Windsor is because I did Windsor Pilates like strictly for almost a year when I was about 20 or 21. Best my body ever looked. I was lean, girl. The cheeks was tight. I was so lean and long, like I was super flexible. I was super strong. My core was tight. And I just loved the look of my body. And it really cinched in my waist and just, like I had this cute little hourglass shape and I just loved it. I was probably like a size 4 at the time, but I absolutely loved it. So I'm just a Windsor Pilates girl, and I'll leave the link to the video below. I just do the 20 minutes. That is my favorite. I will say this, it's gonna start to get easy to you after a while. So I would highly recommend you looking at other classic Mat Pilates videos. If I could find the one that I use that'd be kicking my butt, they'll be kicking my butt. I will link it down below for you as well. But Windsor Pilates is the Mat Pilates that I use and recommend. I absolutely love Mari Windsor. Rest in peace. Okay, so another question that I got a lot is, did I drink alcohol during my weight loss? I did not. I stopped drinking alcohol when I decided I wanted to lose weight and when I realized how the body tries to burn off the alcohol when you ingest it. So I am not against alcohol, you guys. I am a tequila drinker through and through, baby. Okay, reposado or añejo. I love tequila. That is my drink of choice. In a perfect world, if alcohol didn't affect your body in the way that it did, I would literally have me some tequila every night. I love tequila. Love tequila, okay? I don't love it as much as I love coffee, even though I'm smiling from ear to ear. I can see my cheeks are like, but I love tequila. I'm trying to let you guys understand that I'm not alcohol bashing. There's no judgment to anybody who likes alcohol or enjoys liquor or anything like that, right? But you guys, honestly, alcohol really does nothing for us. It does nothing for us. And the reason why I stopped drinking alcohol is because when you ingest liquor, your body then takes almost 3 days before it will continue to burn fat. All right. If you're trying to lose weight, but you're drinking every few days, just imagine you're not going to lose the weight. It's going to be very difficult, or it's going to be extremely slowed down. So if you have a lot of weight to lose, I would say go on ahead, pray about it, and make a decision and make a choice. I'll drink it to celebrate every now and again. Like when I went to Arizona, I drank. I had tequila the whole weekend. I paid dearly for it. Because I was drinking every single day. Everything I ate stuck to me. And I literally gained, I mean, it had to be 10 pounds. I didn't get on the scale because I was like terrified to, but I know I gained a lot of weight. I can see it. I can feel it all in my stomach. I was super bloated, and it took me a good 2.5 to 3 weeks just to get comfortable again. So I didn't drink. And I would highly suggest that you don't drink if you really, really, really want to lose the weight. Your body is trying to figure out what that poison is that you put in it. So it is working to burn that off. And it takes a couple days to do it because it's prioritizing burning that substance out of your system. It's not even thinking about fat, baby. If your goal is fat loss, which was my goal, which was fat loss originally, I just knew I couldn't drink. So I just stopped. So I went months, I'm gonna go 4 or 5 months. I didn't drink any alcohol, and I still do not drink it all the time like I used to. I mean, we kept a bottle of tequila in the house. I just can't, guys. I can't, because if not, I'm gonna be at a standstill. And I paid for that just recently. Like, my face was puffy. Oh, I don't even know if you can notice. If I can put up a side-by-side screen of a video I just filmed last week, you guys, you will see the difference in my face from this video and the video that I posted last week, how puffy I was from all the alcohol I had been drinking the week prior. So I would say if you're really serious about your journey, cut the alcohol out, girl. Just wait. It's not even worth it. And to be honest, alcohol does nothing for us. It does nothing for us. It's just not something that we should be drinking all the time. And we shouldn't even aspire to drink it all the time. And this is not coming from a judgy place. I'm just trying to say, honestly, alcohol, baby, it's not the way. Another question that I got was, did the weight loss cause loose skin? It did not. But everyone is different. And by genetics, my skin is pretty tight. I have 2 kids and I didn't get loose skin from either pregnancy. I didn't even get stretch marks with my first pregnancy. And my second pregnancy, the small amount of stretch marks that I did get, I didn't get until after I had him. And they're practically non-existent, or it's not like they bother me at all. It's very, very little, very, very minimal. I don't even think it goes all the way up to my belly button or anything. For somebody who's in her 40s, I feel like my skin is holding up pretty well. Obviously, the elasticity is, it's hanging on by a thread. But genetics wise, I've never suffered from loose skin. I have gone up and fluctuated in weight throughout the years, and I've never suffered from any loose skin because of it. I hope that helps, but just know that genetics plays a huge part. There's girls that I know that had kids at 22 and have super loose skin from one pregnancy and barely gained any weight. Whereas though I had kids later on in life and I did not get any loose skin from that. My skin stays pretty tight. So no, I did not. But that does not mean that somebody else who loses 40 pounds can get loose skin. Another question that I get all the time is, what speed did I walk and at what incline? So guys, it's so important for you to understand that everybody's cardio levels are completely different. So the speed that I walk is going to be what I need to be walking for me to be in my zone 2 heart rate. Me telling you what speed I walk, it's not going to benefit you unless we have the same stats, like unless we weigh the exact same or we're the same exact age, same height. Like, it's going to be different for everybody. What I highly recommend that you do is Google fat burn heart rate, and you'll see charts. So you'll be able to look at the chart and determine what your zone 2 heart rate should be in. For me, my zone 2 heart rate is anywhere from 115 to about 126 or 127, I think. So I try to stay within that heart rate zone. Okay. So that speed that I have to walk is going to fluctuate. So for instance, I started out walking on my lunch break, and there's going to be varying inclines because I'm walking in the cities. Some parts might be a little hilly, some parts might not be hilly. So I would adjust my pace based on what my heart rate was at the time. So it just really depends. If I'm on my treadmill, however, the more I walked, the faster I had to walk to stay in my zone 2 heart rate. So now I'm at a place where, let's say in the beginning on my treadmill at a 0 incline and let's say 3.0 speed, I probably could hit my zone 2 heart rate easily, quickly, okay? But as I continued to walk and walk and walk and strengthened my heart and strengthened my cardio, then I had to pump that up. So now I need to walk at like 3.4 and I might have to pump my incline up to like 4. So it just depends. And sometimes a little higher. So the more that I'm going to walk, the more I'm going to have to make adjustments to stay in zone 2. So I hope that makes sense and I hope that helps. In order for you to find out what your zone is and what your range is, you're going to have to look up a chart so you can see. Also, you're going to need a heart rate monitor. If you have an Apple Watch, you're good to go. There's a heart rate monitor on it. If you don't have an Apple Watch, and I understand not everybody can afford an Apple Watch, totally understandable. I'll link a few affordable options in the description box below, but you're going to need a heart rate monitor just so that way you're in the right zone. Zone 2 is the zone. Zone 2 is the zone, okay? Okay, so yeah, you're just gonna have to find your speed on your own, and the best way for you to do that is going to be wearing some sort of heart rate monitor. So like I said, an Apple Watch, a Fitbit, an Oura Ring, something that's gonna monitor you to let you know that you're in your zone 2, and you'll know what your zone 2 heart rate range is by doing a quick Google search of that term and figuring out what it is for you. So that's that. All right, so let's go on to the next question. What was my height and my beginning weight? So I am 5'5", and my beginning weight was over 220 pounds. When I first got on the scale, I was about 218 pounds, but I got on the scale a few weeks after I had started my weight loss journey. That's when I was, watching what I ate and I was working out, and I know I had lost weight before I had got on the scale. And by the time I got on the scale, I was 218 pounds. So yeah, I literally probably lost a few pounds, and girl, you couldn't tell me I wasn't skinny, but I was still severely overweight. So 5'5", 218 pounds. The lowest weight that I got to was about 172 pounds. And then I've gained back, I've gained back some of that weight, partly due to muscle and just fluctuations or falling off a little bit, that kind of stuff. So anyway, that was the lowest weight. I have not gotten on the scale in quite a long time because I've been lifting weights. And if you watched my video, then you know that seeing the number, even though I know I'm gaining muscle, it does something to my mind. And in order to stay happy, I just choose not to get on the scale. What I use for me is how good I feel in my clothes getting looser, things that I used to have that didn't fit are fitting, things like that. When I feel super confident, my stomach feels nice and flat, or flat as it can be. That's what I'm gauging. I don't do the scale anymore, guys. So that's that. Okay, so this right here is this is the question, and I saved this for the end because it's so much more that I have to go in depth to talk about this. So how do you know how much each item should weigh and how to calculate your calories? This is a really, really good question, because I'll be honest with you, before me going on this weight loss journey, I had no idea how to do this, and I would see people weighing their food, and I'm just kind of like, how do you do this? And and I had to do some research to figure this out. However, I did figure it out. So we're going to talk about it now. First and foremost, you're going to have to figure out like how many calories you should be taking in order for you to lose weight. And in order for you to even get to that point, you need to figure out just your maintenance calories. So you're going to use a TDEE calculator. I'm going to leave that calculator linked in the description box below, so that way you can go down in the description box, click on that link, and it's free. And you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna put in your age, you're gonna put in your height, you're gonna put in if you're male or female, and then you're gonna put in your activity level. If you are completely sedentary, which a large majority of you might be, which is probably part of the reason why we were all in this position to begin with. So if you are sedentary, meaning you have like an office job where you just do very little to no activity, go ahead and leave it at sedentary. If you're not walking up to 3 miles a day, then you're sedentary. Go ahead and put in sedentary. It's going to tell you how much food you have to eat if you don't want to gain another pound. For me, when I started, I put in 218 pounds, my height 5'5", how old I was, that I was female, and it's gonna give me a certain amount of calories that I can eat per day to not gain another pound, but not lose another pound, if that makes sense, okay? So let's say, and I'm just throwing out a number here, if that number was 2,000 calories. If I can eat 2,000 calories a day, I would stay 218 pounds while being sedentary, meaning I'm not moving my body. All right, so that's the first step that you're gonna do, right? You're gonna get that number. So now that we have the 2,000 number, in order to find out how many calories you should be eating in, pretty much it's up to you what type of deficit you need, but anything less than 2,000 calories is going to allow you to lose weight. Might be slow. It just depends on how much you want to go down and how ambitious you are. Let's say you do 250 calories. That was that 1750. So if you want to reduce your calories by 250 calories per day, right? Meaning like if you normally have a snack, you're going to choose to stop eating that 250 calorie snack per day. You're going to start to slowly lose weight. So if you want to reduce it by 500 calories, then now you're going to be eating a 1,500 calorie meal, which is pretty much what I was doing, okay? So if you have to eat 1,500 calories per day, now you know, if you're eating 1,500 calories per day, you are going to lose weight. And that's if you don't move a muscle. But because you're not eating 2,000 calories, just you being the weight that you are alone, all right, it's gonna cause you to lose fat. Now that we have the amount of calories that I can eat per day, now 1,500 calories is the most that I can eat per day, right? Great. Now, the other part of this question was, how do you know how much each food should weigh? The first thing that you need to do in order to properly log and calculate how many calories you're taking in, you're gonna need some sort of a calorie counting app. I use the Lose It app. I love this app. I used to use MyFitnessPal. The Lose It app runs circles around MyFitnessPal, in my humble opinion, and what it costs MyFitnessPal per month, it costs literally for the year for Lose It. Everything about the app looks better. It's just a better user interface. You can use whatever calorie counting app that you want. Me personally, I love the Lose It app. So now that we got the app that I use out of the way and that you absolutely wholeheartedly need a calorie counting app, let's talk about how do you know how much each thing should weigh. So this is my process, okay? What I did was I prioritized protein as my main calorie source. So with my meals, I plan it in advance. I didn't wing it throughout the days. Like I didn't wing it Monday through Friday or whatever the case is to figure out, like just start scanning as I ate, because it's very important for you to get your protein in. And it was very important for me to get protein and fiber in. So I planned everything the night before. I would plug in everything that I was going to eat the very next day just to make sure that I was on top of my protein goals. And then I built everything else around my protein. So, for example, if it was dinner, for instance, I would weigh my chicken first or my salmon or whatever it was first. And so if you take whatever portion of chicken that you have, that you've cooked, and put it on the scale, all right? You're gonna need a food scale in order for you to weigh your food. This is the one that I use. I have purchased several. This particular one, I cannot find the link to this one. I don't think they sell it anymore. I went through my Amazon order history. I cannot find this one, but the other one that I've purchased that works just fine is linked in the description box below. If I can find another one that's very similar to this, I will also link it in the description box below. You're gonna need a scale, all right? So let's say you cooked chicken for dinner, you know you're having chicken for dinner. You're gonna take that piece of chicken and you're gonna put it on the scale. Every food scale has these particular buttons. It's gonna have your unit, and it's gonna have this button right here, which is called tare, okay? So what you're gonna do is, if you have your container that you're gonna take or put your meal prep in, you're gonna sit that on top of this, okay? So let's say this is your bowl. You're gonna sit that bowl on top of your scale, all right? After you do that, it's gonna weigh the bowl. What you're gonna do is, once you put your container on top of the bowl, you're gonna hit the button that says tare. So hitting the tare button is going to zero out how much the bowl weighs. Then when you add your chicken, you're only weighing your chicken. I hope that makes sense, okay? So you're gonna weigh your chicken. Whatever your chicken weighs, you're gonna log that amount. So if you have a 4-ounce piece of chicken, you're gonna go ahead into your Lose It app and you're going to enter 4 ounces of grilled chicken. It's gonna tell you how many calories it is. So let's say it's 250 calories for that grilled piece of chicken, and let's say it's 20 grams of protein. Now you have that. So after you do that, you're gonna go for your lunch, whatever protein source you're gonna have for your lunch, you're gonna do the same exact thing. You're going to weigh it, you're going to log it. Same with breakfast. You're gonna put in your eggs, you're gonna put in your bacon, whatever the protein source is, start with that first, okay? Now that you have all of the calories for all of that, that's what's gonna determine what else you can add. So let's go back to dinner, right? Let's say now I have about a good 700 calories left because all of my protein is a certain amount of calories. Let's say I have 700 to 800 calories left. I'm gonna be super strategic now. So for rice, I'm gonna go in, I use ready-made minute rice. I'm gonna scan the back of that package, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna determine how much of that rice I can have that's going to be within my calorie bank, okay? Because I have like a budget now that I'm working with. So I'm gonna make sure that however much that I weigh is gonna be the amount of calories that makes sense for the meal. I hope that makes sense, okay? So if the serving size is 28 grams, but it's so many calories that it blows me out of what my daily caloric needs is, then I'm gonna use less, all right? So I'm using the serving size as a guide, but if that serving size doesn't work, I'm gonna use less. Does that make sense? So I would say you're gonna start out with your protein and your non-negotiable. Non-negotiable for me is my coffee. I'm gonna enter my coffee, I'm gonna enter my protein. All of that goes in first because everything else takes a back seat. Everything else is gonna be veggies, fruits, and then extra little carbs and stuff like rice and stuff like that. So that's pretty much how you figure out how much each item weighs. It's you altering the amount of the serving that fits in your caloric budget. I hope that makes sense because that's the easiest way that I can explain it to you. So you start with your protein and you go from there. Prioritize your protein, guys. So yeah, that's how you figure out how to weigh your food, what you need to weigh your food, and how to track your food. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you have any additional questions, please leave it in the comment section and I will try to answer you individually. But I was trying to kind of get out of the way all of these questions in this video. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, a lot of you wanted to know what video I watched about the walking for fat burn. I will leave that down below. It's a very popular YouTuber. He's a doctor. His body is amazing and he specializes in fat burn. And you'll probably get addicted and you'll probably go on a binge and you'll watch so many of his videos, but I will link it down below. I linked it in my weight loss video, but you guys are still asking. So I will link it specifically in the description box below. Since we're done with those questions specifically, another question you guys ask me about all the time is what lipstick that I'm wearing. I will leave that also. My entire makeup routine will be linked in the description box below. The top that I'm wearing will be linked in the description box below. And then the necklace that I'm wearing, which is also a super popular question that I get almost in every single video, will be linked down below. So those were the most asked questions on that video. If you have any other questions about my weight loss, about my journey, and you want to laugh a little bit with me, then you can watch my 40-pound weight loss story right here.